Hello, everyone. Very, very nice to. There will be quite a few that might jump on early, but I think there's quite a lot of sent me private messages and said that they're going to be watching the recording of this. Just to remind everybody, next week there won't be a coaching because I'm going to be on the 500 Plus Club. Now, admittedly, we will be back, but we'll probably be completely indisposed because I don't think we'll actually get home to something stupid like midnight on the Monday. And to be quite honest, I'm probably gonna need. So we'll leave it for a week. All right, just so everybody knows. Okay, so I decided we'd talk about the biggest subject that everybody knows. It's called the elephant in the room, this one. This is all about communicating with people, picking up the phone, because this is the part that makes Utility Warehouse different, because we are a relationship building business. Okay, we're all about really building relationships. Now, I'm going to share my screen because there is lots of helpful stuff on our partner portals. And I think it's a great thing to be able to be on your own sometimes and have a look and see what's there. So I'm going to share, not that page. Let's go log in. So we're on the dashboard, okay, and where it might be a good idea to jot these down. Go to your learning portal. And I sat here thinking of all the different ways that we can reach contacts and prospects. And I wrote them down, and then I discovered this. So I'm making it easy for you because I took a while doing all this and going through it all. But actually, if you go to G, and it's getting appointments. This is excellent. But I'm going to move everybody over one side of my page. And the company have devised so much superb information. It is really good. It is the absolute backbone to what we need to do. Building a list. Do you know there's no short change to this? And this is an organic thing. Guys, I still use books, all right, because they can go with me anywhere. When you think of something, you can write it down. So I still use little books, and it's always been the basis. I was told that you need to create a list because we have a fantastic brain. We hold masses of information in it. The hardest part for us, especially, I suppose I come in the group now, as you get older, the hard part is retrieving it. It's all in there. There is a lifetime of contacts, and it's like, how do you remember them? And we often think, no, I've not been in front of many people. How many people do you first recruit? And the first thing they say is, I don't know anyone. And I think, yes, you do. You've been in front of loads of people in your life. They actually say that we've already been in front of about 2,000 people by the time we reach 18. So, gosh, when you get to sort of 60 plus, you've been in front of a lot of people. And I started off very much with the whole list building thing when I got going. My first 2 weeks, I'm going to just repeat this because it's really important for everybody. You do not have to be ultra clever at this. You really don't. I did one customer a month for 2 years. That is the absolute truth. If I asked Rob, I reckon he must have been so damn disappointed when he first got me. I bet he thought, oh, wow, this is a great lady. She's in business to business sales. And then I did one customer a month. The timing wasn't right. But when the timing became right, and I made a decision that I wanted to make this work, and there it is, there's the clue. When I made a decision and I decided to focus that this is going to be the way out of sorting our life. And for many people, the biggest driver, and we hear this all the time at the Hampshire Buzz last night, it was massive. The lovely guest speaker, who's the lady that is the first person that Ben Fogle speaks to on the bench in the park. And she says, the biggest thing that drives you is your why. It always has been, always will be. Because if you've got no why, you're going nowhere. You're a ship without a rudder. And her why was about her 2 children. What was my why? And I'm sharing this because this stuff's important. It really is. What was my why? Well, actually, my why wasn't very exciting. It was all about bills. And sometimes it's not about the things you want and dream of in life, fast cars, holidays, you know, big houses. I wanted to eliminate the worry of those damned bills coming in. And we lived a very high lifestyle. This was, you know, 20 years ago. The trouble is, when you live a high lifestyle, you've got a lot to do and you've got a lot to reach up to. And we worked very hard, but we spent hard. Oh, just being honest. Is it true that we live to our means? Yeah, we do. And so our minimum outgoings, even after we whittled it down, was massive, because it was 20 years ago. It was £4,750 a month before we even broke even. That was bills, mortgage, all that stuff. Crazy, absolutely crazy. So there was a lot to work for. And when I decided to make this go, my passive income, residual income, was £35 a month. That doesn't get you very far when you leave a 45,000 a year job. Yeah, but we said we'd make it work. Okay, so I had a big why, and it was to eliminate the bills. And I'll share this with you. I'll just stop this screen a minute because it's nice to see people to share this. This is so boring, really, but it's true. And Jimmy Chapman, who's an NNL, said, actually, he said it was quite inspiring. So I do share it. I wrote every single bill down. I mean, I'm on about the council tax, the water, the milk. We used to have a milkman. People still have milkman, but we did. I wrote every bill down and how much it cost. And it was on a piece of paper, and it was right in front of where I used to sit in my office where the telephone was. And that was the thing that was driving me. And I also drew, who remembers the days of the smiley face with the, you know, the emoji, they call them now, don't they? And I had that, and underneath it said, what's the worst that can happen? They can say no. Actually, it's true, isn't it? I'd been a police officer years ago, and I literally had been kicked at, spat at and everything. So this was never going to be as bad. They do say, though, that words hurt, and it does hurt. But I remember thinking, do you know what? Every time I get a no, it's going to get me nearer to a yes. All right. And that was how I worked out the whole system. So every time the money went up, I went to Smith's and I bought a packet of gold stars. And if I reached another bill, I gave myself a gold star. So I remember the day that the money went up 1 month, I'd worked so hard and the money went up, and it did 2 bills in one go. It hit the council tax, and it also hit, it was another smaller one. And I rang up my late husband and said, darling, we've got to go out and celebrate tonight. We have never got to find the council tax ever again. And that's how I saw it. I was running away from bills and freeing myself up. Do you think it was a big driver? It was massive.
Yeah.
Massive driver. All right, so I'm going to that because I want you to think, before you do anything, what is driving you now? Because not the car, Ian, all right? We're on about the goals, the passion. So that is important. So let's go back to my screen and let's have a look. So you've got to build a list. Hey, listen, it's basic stuff. You know, in our training, there is the memory jogger. frogs. And I sit with brand new recruits and I sit and help them build a list. I just do. Where did that go? How did that go? Sorry, folks. Hang on. I must have pressed something by accident. Apologies. You don't have to be clever to do this. Here we go. So I help them build a list and I really home in using the memory jogger. And what I find is usually within half an hour, I can get somebody to at least 50 names when they thought they knew nobody. Now, that's empowering for them, because if they had a list of just 10 and they rang a few people and it was bad timing, going on holiday, whatever it may be, they're not going to feel confident they can do this. But if they've got a longer list, doesn't matter if the first few are no good, because they've got more people to call. And then you encourage them to, with the book, you encourage them to keep adding as they think of people. Now, I'm still adding every day, and I will share a quick ad because I know that this stuff is part of one of the things on here. Okay. I don't know that it's business networking, but I'm a very spontaneous lady. And so I'll stop the share again and I'll share this. How did I add another name on Saturday? Well, Saturday was running around like crazy, doing stuff ready like you have to for the holiday. Yeah. And we had to get some more, don't laugh, organic layers pellets for the chicken. Our usual farm shop had run out, and I'm so adamant I don't want to give them anything other than organic, that we went off on a bit of a jaunt, and a place called Sturminster Newton. There is a big sort of independent department store, which we love. In fact, I don't recommend it because if you go in there, it's very hard not to spend money. Okay. But we went to another place called Olives et al. And Olives et al. Is an independent manufacturer of olives. And the guy that runs it, Giles, oh, he's just so enigmatic. I used to belong to a business networking group called North Dorset Business Networking. And I joined it, being honest, I told them all, I joined it because I was a bit of a sad creature when Chris died, in that I grieved very much for 3 years. And one of the hard things is when you're in your late 50s is, as a woman, you can't just go out in the evening on your own. You can't linger at a bar in a pub. No, you don't look clever. And I wanted to get the odd evening out. So I rang up a friend of mine who ran it and said, can I be a bit fake? Do you mind if I come along and just come for the social? Good food, chatter, because it'd be a night out for me. And she said, yeah. And what they used to do, we used to go to all these different businesses, and one of them was Olives et al. And there was this incredible story that unfolded how he built his business. And I've never forgotten, and I've patronised that business ever since. Same as I've patronised Eco Roast Coffee, and also another company that does, it's a husband and wife team that does handles. So I really made use of this this networking group. But I want to share this with you. I was really upfront and said to everybody, I'm here because I'm here for the social. I'm not really here to do business. All right. Now, the funny thing was, I think everybody relaxed with me, because it was like, oh, Lisa's not here. There's no big pressure. She's not pressure sailing. What do you think happened? I started to get people ask me, would I do stuff for them? Now, isn't that interesting? You know the saying I say to everyone, everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to. And actually, I think it came into its form. So I used to get business. Now, we went to Olives et al. And on Saturday, I said to Juan, let's go to Olives et al. And lo and behold, Giles was there. Bought a load of lovely things, thinking of, don't laugh, some stuff for Christmas. Oh, God, I thought about Christmas. But Giles was there, and we bought some bits and we got nattering. And when it came to paying, I paid, and I said to him, do you know, I've never forgotten your amazing speech. And I relayed what had happened. And I suppose you could say it was kind of, it wasn't meant to be buttering him up, but maybe it was, but it wasn't meant in that kind of false way. And he said, wow. And then this is the best bit. Please hear this. This is the bit you've got to take on. He turned around and said, what do you do as a business then? Now, the best thing in the world is when they ask you, you don't sell. Do you remember that? You know, Alan P says that. And I said, oh, and I just laughed because it was so off the cuff. And I went, oh, I reduce bills. He said, what do you mean you reduce bills? I said, well, we used to reduce business bills, but we can't at the moment with what's going on with energy. But we still reduce home bills. He said, do you? I said, yeah. He said, oh. He said, I think you could help me. Now, a trick I learned off Wes Linden years ago was don't give out business cards. And you know what? I don't have any on me. No matter how much I look, I haven't got any on me. But that's the trick. Because what you do is I said, I tell you what, Giles, shall I put you in my phone? He said, yeah. And then here's the other thing. I said to him, it's not going to be this week because we're going on holiday. Do you mind waiting a couple of weeks? He said, no, not at all. Do you think that's really kind of relaxed, no heavy pressure sale? Giles is in my calendar as a reminder that possibly next week, Wednesday, Thursday, I will call him and I will make an appointment to see him. What a lovely, easy way to get business. Mm. Now, I always think these days I'll get it. I'm sort of 99% sure that I'll get it. Because why is that? Because I know we've got the best stuff. We've got the cheapest energy prices. It's not huge savings, but combined with the discount club and combined with other things that we can save them loads on, we've got the best proposition out there. So there's a way to get business. Don't go out and sell. Don't verbally diarrhea over them. In the early days, did you do it too? I used to verbally diarrhea over people. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to tell them everything. No wonder they used to run a mile. We don't want to do that, all right? So what we want to do is do it in a nice way. So let's have a look at this stuff again. So build the list, keep building the list. Use scripts. And here it is, guys. Make calls. Now, all of this, look, if you go into this stuff, it's all there. Let's have a look at making calls. Wow, there's Steve Pankhurst. You can play a video. Look at this. What is the point of me relaying? And it's all here. And actually, if you ever watch this, it's a damn good little video. All right. Here's one that we haven't done for a long time because we couldn't. What about a business launch? Does everybody remember those? Now, there are some people on there. I'll stop the share again. There's some people on here that joined in lockdown, so they don't even know what we're on about. But in the early days, you could join up, and I used to call it the old Tupperware Pippa-Dee thing. Do you remember in those days? Oh my God, I've got a house full of Tupperware. But when I was a single parent, it was a fabulous way of getting friends round. I could have a sociable evening. You'd end up with a nice gift and you had a good night, didn't you? And Tupperware never runs out. It's still going strong. And Pippa-Dee was the other one. Anyway, I call this a UW party. Best to keep it as a party. So go offer a new recruit. Look, I'm going to share with you how to ring them. I'm going to give you an absolute script. Don't divert from it. And let's try and get 10, 12 people there. Let's jam out your living room. And then all I do is I go with my iPad or my laptop, use my HDMI lead into their TV because everybody's got all these smart TVs these days. And hey presto, I'm confident I will do a little presentation. To be quite honest, it's what we do, isn't it? You know, when we do our presentation, and then we invite them to ask questions, which is great. Now, I've done a few of these and I went all the way to Plymouth for one lady who is one group customer away from senior team leader now. She's a photographer in the West Country, but I went to Plymouth because she assured me she was going to have about 20 people turn up. And I said, wow, that's worth me driving. And what she did, she had a friend who's got a sort of social club. And before the social club got going, she got it for free. I set up bits and bobs, and she brought a load of people. Tea and biscuits, don't go overboard, whatever you do. Yeah, tea and bickies, as you would. I did the little presentation. She got 12 customers from that night, and 2 partners joined. Is that maximising efforts? Mm-hmm. So how did she get in there? The important thing was the script, making the calls. She kept to what is the principle. Brand new people, don't tell them what it's about. Please don't tell them. Just say, I've started a new venture. I'm ever so excited. And I want to share it with other people. She said, look, I'm getting a few of you together because I'd value your opinion. You're my first important folk. You're the people that are going to matter. And I know the lady's going to ask you for feedback. That'll be fabulous. Because to be honest, if you all think it's a load of rubbish, she said, then I won't do this. And I'm in my first few days. She said that I can get out if it's no good, but I think it looks fabulous. And that's how she got people there. How good is that? She never told them what it was. They hadn't got a clue. I didn't put up banners, didn't do any of that, kept it informal. And hey presto, yeah, out of it came 12 customers and 2 partners. So there's a way. You know, we can do that stuff now, can't we? We're away from the whole pandemic stuff. Okay, so let's go back a page. Making calls. What about when you're further in the business like we are? How can you make those calls? How do you get the calls? What is there? Now look, social media. I was speaking to a lady who's here last night, and she says she uses social media. Now, you've got to be damn good at this, because someone like myself, I'm not very good. I'm not very good at this stuff, and I don't do it, okay? But some people are very, very good. But what I've learned is, again, they don't sort of like force it in people's faces. They don't sell. Now, I see so many partners. Oh my God, it's been awful the last few months. And all of them start off with, excuse the unusual approach. Oh, I don't normally post this. And they're all saying the same thing. And I'm thinking, how sort of, there's no sort of, it's a bit disingenuous. That's what I mean. Yeah. Well, actually, you don't really want to sell. What you want to do is, because social media is social. Is that true? Yeah. And if you start selling, you could lose a load of friends. You don't want to lose your friends. Not really. So maybe you might put something nice on there that I've started a new venture and I'm really enjoying it. And oh, it's got me, for example, a Christmas dinner. And it's got me another dinner for the next day. Or you could say it's got me a weekend breakaway, all expenses paid. How nice is that? By doing stuff like that, I think that's going to spark a lot more interest from your friends and family. Well, what are you up to? Oh, I'll private message you. Actually, do you know I wouldn't private message if they're friends and family? I'd get on the phone and say, hey, I'm sorry, I should come and share this with you. Why don't I show you? Oh, actually, while you're at it, would you mind being a human guinea pig? Can I come and run it by you properly? All right. Again, it's trying to create a bit of intrigue so that people are genuinely interested. And let's be honest, once we do that presentation, if you do it really well and you come to that last page, so what's best for you? Earn as a partner, save as a customer, or both? Do you know what? It's that alternative close, isn't it? It's one or the other. Not many people will go none. Or better still, this is my little stock phrase always, probably a stupid question. But is it earn as a partner, save as a customer, or both. Now, if they say nothing, they're stupid, aren't they? All right. It's a bit like when I show them my bill and I go, you know, the old cashback. Now, you know what I do on the 20k giveaways, and I go, you see all those little bits? They're small, aren't they? That money. They're small. And they go, yeah. And then they go, yeah, but it adds up. And I go, yeah, it's true. Because if they say it's true. And then I go back to the front page, and then I say, probably a stupid question, but would you like simpler billing? And would you like your everyday spending to further reduce your bills? Oh, and while you're at it, get amazing customer service. And if they say yes, then it's great. We need to meet. No need to ask for an appointment. So there's lots of ways, and it's all the time. All we want to do is get in front of folk. We want to get in front of them and show them. We're in the show business, as Claire Hingott says. We're in the business to show, and then they decide. And that way we give them options and choices, and they don't feel that they're absolutely cornered, because people hate feeling cornered. So let's go back again. So there's gather referrals. Now there's a key. Neighbour letters. There's so much in this that I'd like to do different parts of it, but I want to really do this in the last few minutes, because when I joined, Mr. Rob Barras said to me, Lisa, this is called network marketing. It's a referral business. And I said, oh. He said, yeah, when you go and see someone, you ask for 3. I said, oh, right, okay. Now, I'm not saying I'm dim. I am blonde, but when someone says this works, I don't try and reinvent the wheel. And he said, this is what you do. And over there, I've got piles of these little books that we used to have, all right? And as soon as I'd done my presentation and I've done everything, and they become a customer, I used to get the little book out, and I used to open it up, and it said on there, referrals. And I used to open it up and I go, right, everybody gives me 3. And I used to shut up. And you know what? People used to give me 3. Now, it's a funny old thing. I've understood the psychology of this. They're used to being told what to do, because they were told what to do at school, senior school, college, and when they go to work, they're told what to do. And actually, we sometimes get too hesitant. And he said, just ask for 3. So I just used to open it up and I say, right, everybody gives me 3. The people to help book, that's it. And what they used to do was say, oh, right. And I used to say, so who do you want to help first? Not me, have referrals. Who do they want to help first? Because every time you've seen there's 50 quid on the table. And so referrals is the key. The other way that I do it was like yesterday, I travelled all the way to a place called Sedgensworth off junction 9 of the M27, quite a distance from here. And I went to set up the internet. Now, come on, ladies and gentlemen, we all know it's simple now, isn't it? It's plug and play. You know, you take out a set of wires and you put a set of wires in, and the damn thing works, doesn't it? But you'll find that there are people out there that they can't bear the thought. So I set it up and we're chatting away, and there were 5 tellies, 5 iPads, 4 computers, and 6 mobile phones. That's a hell of a lot. And all it is Wi-Fi password. So as I'm going around, this guy who likes to be called John, but he's really Robert. Do you get those customers? I've got loads of them. And John says to me, how did you learn all this stuff? And I'm thinking, this is simple now. When you do something enough, it becomes simple. And he had Sky TV, but even that's the same. You just go into the settings, you look for connections, and you know, you do that stupid scroll up and down the bar with the silly numbers, and you just put the password in. But he thinks I'm a genius, and I'm thinking, gosh. And I kept saying to him, I said, as we were chatting away and he was talking about people, and I said, oh, that could be someone else you could recommend it to. He said, oh, yeah. I said, oh, I must get these names down. He said, yeah, I'll give you their names. And what happened as I went through the time, and I spent time with them, the hardest thing is setting up the cashback card. And they both said to me, there was no way they could have done it. And I keep giving feedback to Ben Wiggader that it's got to be simpler. But what happened was I walked out with 6 referrals. Was that worth a drive? Absolutely. Because how much work could you have to do to get really good leads, prospects? A lot. And these aren't just prospects, these are really warm. These are the best. Because what's going to happen, I say to all of them, look, I'm not going to phone them, because if I do that, that'll be a cold call, and I don't do cold calling. I'd like you to give them a call and say, there's this lovely lady, and I always say it with a laugh, all right, because you've got to laugh at yourself, otherwise you're serious is no good. I say, there's this lovely lady, and do you know what? She goes the extra mile. She comes and sorts it all out, does stuff for you like she did for us, going to save us an absolute fortune. And I said, John, whatever you do, please don't tell them how much you've saved, because everybody's house is individual. I said, but just tell them that to expect a call. And I said, John, just drop me a text when the right time is for me to phone them. And he said, oh, well, you won't phone them then. I said, no, that's why I'll take the names and number. I'll wait for you. And that, you've still got control, but what you're doing is letting them feel safe. Because they don't want you to pounce on their friends and family. But what you'll find is John is going to sell it for you. They're going to actually already say it's damn good, because they wouldn't ring them up and say, I think this could be a load of rubbish, because they've taken it. So what is the best business? Referrals, recommendations. All right, they're the best thing. That's going to grow your list massively. So look, we've gone past 5. I feel this is an enormous subject. We can hit on different areas and do different parts of it, but I'm hoping some of that stuff is going to help you. But please take this on board. If you haven't at this moment, all these years hence, never got yourself a book with a list of names in it, people to contact, it's time to start, because it really works. I don't know why the old stuff works, but it does. Everybody knows I am so old-fashioned. I run a diary, okay? It works for me. And then my calendar is my remind me things. So like this chap, Giles, you know, when I get back from holiday, I ain't going to remember, but all of a sudden my phone will ping and it will say, oh, we've got to ring Giles. And I can't think of a simpler way of running a business. The company's done my planner, but I've got to say, I find that a bit complex. I just do. It's like more feeding information in, and then they've got to cover GDPR and stuff. Do you know the way I cover GDPR? Because I asked Wayne Coupland. He said, Lisa, he said, just when you talk to them, keep asking them, is it all right to keep your contact details? And if you get a verbal agreement, evidently that's good. So not next Tuesday, following Tuesday, which I think will be, I'll tell you what it'll be. It'll be the 11th, Tuesday the 11th. And I look forward to seeing you all. And this is being recorded and it'll be uploaded to YouTube. As you know, living in the countryside here, wonderful, but it comes at a fantastic penalty. My upload is 0.7 megabytes. But here's the thing to tell everybody when you go and see them. You've got a friend in the business, her name's Lisa, and she lives 1.5 miles from the cabinet and the telegraph pole ends in her garden. And she runs on 11 megabits a second. And she runs Zooms with loads of people and it all works perfect. So when they get Virgin telling them if they don't have 200, they won't be able to do any internet, it's a load of rubbish. Stories tell, stories sell. All right. Nice to see you all, guys. Take care.
Yeah.